In every rescue scenario, time, precision, and safety are everything. The tools we choose and how we use them can make the difference between control and chaos. I'm Mike Dragonetti with Dragon Rescue Management, and today we're breaking down the differences between two of the most trusted artificial high directional systems in technical rescue, the Arizona Vortex and the Paratech Elevator Rescue Kit. Both are among the most versatile systems in modern technical rescue, but they're built for very different missions and often work toward the same goal: safe, efficient, and effective rescue operations in accordance with established elevator rescue safety standards and elevator rescue safety protocols. In this segment, we'll take a closer look at how each system is designed, the environments they are best suited for, and the unique advantages they bring to the field. From elevator shafts to high-angle rope operations, these systems have proven themselves in some of the toughest rescue environments imaginable. You'll see how the Arizona Vortex delivers unmatched versatility across multiple rescue disciplines, while the Paratech Elevator Rescue Kit offers compact, purpose-built reliability designed specifically for elevator emergencies, supporting elevator rescue safety training and elevator rescue safety procedures and elevator rescue safety guidelines that ensure crews work safely and efficiently. This isn't about brands or sales, it's about knowledge, confidence, and safety in motion. Now let's join DRM's Billy Simons as he breaks down the equipment, the techniques, and the decisions that define a professional rescue operation aligned with elevator rescue safety requirements and elevator rescue safety measures.
Right. We've got our Arizona Vortex kit here, and we have our Paratech kit. All right, Paratech Elevator Rescue Kit. Looking at them, let me start by asking, who has a Vortex in this room? Becoming very common. Only 5 years ago, probably 1 or 2 people would have raised their hands. Anybody have this Paratech kit? Were you guys all from the same department? Okay. So the Paratech kit, when you look at it, it's not everything you see. It's simply these junctions up here, the feet, and those rubberized headers up there, all right? We'll get into that in a second. The Vortex, everything you see here with the exception of this, and the 4th foot comes with the kit, right? That kit, you can do one thing with it. Forget it, again, back to the kit, take the struts out of the equation. That exact kit is only for elevator rescue, whereas the Vortex is a little bit more universal. You can use it for a lot more of your high angle rope rescue. Yeah, so in order to set this up, I had to open the hoistway door to get in there, okay? It's a little bit cumbersome to set up. Takes 3 or 4 people. Those people need to be on some sort of travel restraint, right, to make sure they don't fall in the hoistway. You should have a tagline on the head of it, right, because you could easily dump it into the hoistway, whereas the Vortex, right now we have the door chopped open, but I could easily set up that entire thing, 1 or 2 people, never opening the door. All right, so as far as from a safety perspective, the Vortex is a lot easier to set up, all right? But then let's look at the advantages of the Paratech, right? Pretty compact. All right, whereas the Vortex, how far does that leg stick out? Right now, what is that, 6 or 7 feet? All right, so depending on the type of the building, depending on the door frame around the elevator, some of them don't have this nice header right there to accept that foot, right? Sometimes the ceiling, or you have a drop ceiling that comes right down to the header. I mean, drop ceiling, we can remove a tile, potentially go above it, but sometimes you will see finished ceilings that come right down, and then you lose the ability to use it in this configuration. How about how far back that goes? Do you guys have buildings with elevators that don't have a hallway that wide? Absolutely. Older style housing projects, you can have pretty narrow hallways. So now, think of another wall here, you lose the ability to use that. So each has its pros, each has its disadvantages. But again, we are not here to sell you guys product. We are here to talk about what we like about each, how to use each, most importantly, how to use them safely, how to use them effectively. I'll start with the Vortex kit. All right, so again, you buy a Vortex, you get everything you see here, with the exception of the 4th flat foot. It only comes with 3, right? Because normally it's used in a tripod configuration or a bipod or a monopod. And this extra anchor point right here, all right, Azorb kit. Important to note about these, they come with 2 pins that are about a 1/4 inch longer than the other 17 pins in the Vortex kit. They look identical. Again, if you don't hold them up side by side and see that one's slightly longer, they can easily get thrown in the bag, and then when it's time to actually have to use this, the reason the pin has to be longer, right, is because this is fitting over an outer leg or a foot, so that pin has to be a little bit longer. If you don't keep those separate or have them marked in a way that's gonna distinguish them, it's gonna take you a second to figure out. You actually have to lay the pins down side by side and figure out which two are a little bit longer. So we wanna keep those separate. And actually in the bag for that head does have a nice little orange bag, there's a sleeve for those pins to go into, okay? And again, the 4th foot, which if you were going to use this for elevator rescue and you're gonna use it often, good investment. I think the feet are maybe $300, something like that, to get that 4th foot. Could you use a raptor foot on any one of these 3 legs? Raptor feet are the other one that come with this. You absolutely can. Wouldn't want you to use one up there, okay? But what's it gonna do? It's gonna damage the wall. For a real life rescue, not the end of the world. All right, I'd probably tuck one of the raptor feet close to the wall so the damage. How much do we care about this header right here? About what's behind? You were to guess right now, and someone knows the answer.
10 to 15% maybe.
Okay, you're actually in the ballpark, right? This configuration, Appalachian Vortex, you'll sometimes hear it called a ram's head configuration, was come up with by a gentleman out of, or I think he's retired now, CMC instructor, also Washington DC firefighter Kelly Burns. Okay, and he tested this out, and he also tested some other configurations where the A-frame was on the bottom and he has a single leg going up to the header. And he developed this Appalachian Vortex, as he likes to call it. And he was pretty crafty, right? He put load cells in all the feet, they applied loads, they lowered, raised people, and what they found is that that foot up there is seeing less than 25% of whatever force we're putting on these legs. Matter of fact, he has a really good podcast, and if you listen to it, and I think everybody in here but one person can relate to this, right? Had a couple beers, you're at a bar, and you go up to the urinal, right? And you put that hand on the wall, okay? It's not holding you up, but it's nice to have, all right? So when we talk about what's behind there, yes, we're concerned about it, but we're not overly concerned, right? We want to make sure that there's material, substantial material behind this header. You will find hollow, right? Okay? Maybe not a go with that. What if I have lighter weight construction, right? Sheetrock, studs, metal studs. What can I do?
Span it with some cribbing maybe?
Okay.
In the face?
Yeah, what you'll see is a lot of teams, they'll carry like a 24 by 12 sheet of plywood. And if they have to use it, they'll actually just throw a couple screws in there, and that's going to evenly distribute the force that you see across those couple joists that you're spanning. All right. So again, nomenclature, right? Blue A-frame head, orange monopod head. These gray tubes right here, I know they're both gray, but the non-shiny ones are your outer tubes. This guy right here is your inner tube. For the most part, anytime I set up the Vortex, I like to have the inner tubes down low. And the reason being is because the inner tubes are where the adjustability is. So if I decided, let's forget this is a traditional tripod, this is not set up the way it is, and I decided we need to raise it down, I can just take a knee, I can pull my pin, and I can raise it along with 2 other people versus having to work up high, especially because this thing can get 9, 10 feet high. That being said, if you look at what we did here, in order to do the Appalachian Vortex, you have to run an inner tube through that monopod head, okay? Because one of these outer tubes won't go through, which means now your adjustability is right here. All right, makes sense? Notice the hobble straps, all right? For this configuration, have to use them. You always have to have the legs secured one way or another. It doesn't necessarily have to be hobble straps, right? You can pin them down, you can tie them down. But you have to know what your tendency of movement on the system is and how to counteract that. And in this case, it's to put those hobble straps on. So anytime you're using this for elevator rescue, gotta have the hobble straps. What I like about the bright orange too is I basically say, that's my zone. If you're not on fall arrest, don't walk in there. It's a nice visual, hey, you're part of a team-based rescue. Maybe okay for me to be back here as the IC, as a safety officer, not be on anything, but we are gonna need people to work the edge. If you come within that orange, you have to be on fall arrest. You guys good with that? Or travel restraint. So we talk about our Paratech kit. These are just your typical gray struts, all right? All the same rules that normally apply to gray struts apply to this. Everybody know the 1, 2, 3 or the 3, 2, 1 rule? What is it?
No more than 2 extensions, 1 strut to exceed 3 feet.
So 1 strut, no more than 2 extensions on that strut, and those 2 extensions combined cannot exceed more than 3 feet. Everybody was seeing that? So here's my strut, and again, the reason the strut's on the bottom is because I like that adjustability to be down low. In this case, I have a 2-foot extension here, which meets my rule. Okay, it's not more than 2 extensions, and it's not more than 3 feet. And in this case over here, I have 2 1-foot extensions, which also meets my rule. So 1 strut, no more than 2 extensions, not exceeding 3 feet. Could I do a second 2-foot extension on this side?
No.
No, right? So everybody's with me, because it now exceeds that 3 feet. It's 2 extensions, but it exceeds 3 feet. All right? Talked about the D-rings down here. Again, rated 5,000 pounds. That is the one advantage that I really like about this kit over the Vortex. If I say, I don't want to build all my stuff up there, I want to build it back there. I have an awesome anchor back there. I'd like to put my system on it. I can build my system, run it through here, a change of direction, come up high, put another pulley. Whereas I can't do that with the Vortex without tying it back in all sorts of crazy ways. All right, so that's the real advantage right there. Let's talk about this header right here. This is a strut. You can put an extension on it, but what the rule is, the rule of thumb, is Paratech says they don't want whatever the throw is on this strut, and you guys can see the yellow marks that indicates how far that throw is on that strut. They don't want more than 50% of that showing the threads, okay? If you have more threads showing than half of whatever the throw is, they're saying throw an extension in there or go up in size on your strut, okay? Because of that, notice we don't have this all the way against the door frame. When we set it up and we put it all the way against the door frame, there was too much thread showing, which is why we shrunk it down. Nothing says that this thing has to span the entire width of the elevator, right? So, 1,000-pound rating, or working load limit at a 4-to-1 safety factor. So basically it's saying its minimum braking strength is 4,000 pounds. Should we be putting anywhere near that amount of force? How would we put that amount of force on this? Something went wrong if we shock loaded it, okay? Stick to single person loads, 1 rescuer, hopefully 1 victim, right? If we're pulling able-bodied people out of there, we should be able to put them on rope alone. We don't need an attendant. We don't need to add any more weight to these systems than we already have, right? These struts are tightened down with the hammer, right? What Paratech says is that they want you to tighten it down until you start to see some deformation in that rubber pad up there. All right, so I cranked down on this pretty hard, okay? Until I couldn't anymore. The feet, it comes with feet in 2 sets of headers. Sean, do you want to actually pull out the other, or one of you guys want to jump into that kit over there and pull out the other header? What the manual calls for is these on a 3 to 5 degree angle, okay, leaning into the hoistway. Just think about it, right? The way it's hooked with those feet, it's basically reinforcing itself. All right, so we don't want less than 3 degrees, we don't want more than 5 degrees. Right now, this is exactly 3. You do have some really deep door frames, all right? So what Paratech does is they give you a second set of headers that allow you to lean in a little bit more to get that 3 to 5 degrees. This is the standard one. This is the one we're using in 90% of the door frames, so we're good to go with that. The feet are also adjustable. I have these pulled out all the way. So again, if we had a deep, we could do that. That'll get the top of your strut a little bit deeper into a door frame if you have a very deep door frame, so that you can get that 3 to 5.
As you can see, performing a last resort top hatch removal comes with significant fall hazards. It's critical to understand and comply with OSHA regulations and elevator rescue safety standards to keep all personnel safe. The DRM 612-6 rule is based on key OSHA fall hazard requirements. The first number 6 is for 6 feet. Anytime you're exposed to a fall hazard of 6 feet or more, a fall arrest system must be used, including harnesses, anchors, and lifelines, all properly secured, inspected, and without slack. The number 12 is for 12 inches. If there's an opening of 12 inches or more around the perimeter of the elevated car top, OSHA requires fall protection measures. Open edges and unguarded perimeters create serious slip and fall risks. Use barriers, guardrails, and personal fall arrest systems to control the exposure. And then the number 6 again for 6 feet. Anyone working within 6 feet of a fully open hoistway door must be protected by a properly tensioned fall arrest system. No slack in the system is critical because extra slack means greater fall distance and higher injury risk. Always confirm that anchor points are approved and rated for fall arrest loads. This is a key part of proper elevator rescue safety equipment selection and inspection. Here's why compliance matters. Ignoring OSHA's fall protection standards or elevator rescue safety guidelines can result in severe injuries or fatalities and lead to serious legal and financial consequences. Violations can bring heavy fines, and liability can extend to supervisors, the department, the municipality, and the organization itself. Elevator safety features at the building level are designed to prevent incidents before they happen. But once a rescue begins, it's the elevator rescue safety protocols, training, and procedures that protect the rescuers themselves. Follow Dragon Rescue Management on our new YouTube channel for more elevator rescue safety training, equipment uses, and professional safety practices that help keep every operation controlled, compliant, and confident. Work smart, work safe, train often, train safe.